Right now at 10, pack up the car.
I'm Melanie Yule. A lot of people will be hitting the roads this weekend. I'll tell you, gas prices could impact holiday travel.
You may be in for a pleasant surprise at the pump. Also tonight.
The rank and file scouts do not want this change.
But a change has been voted on by the Boy Scouts about gay members. We'll have your reaction. And making good on a bet.
Why a pair of teachers is spending the night on the roof.
We can give up one night for this.
The news starts right now.
In high definition, this is Fox 28 News at 10.
First on Fox, will travelers be breaking the bank at the pump or getting a break instead this Memorial Day weekend? Tonight, an expert is weighing in. Good evening. Thanks for being here. I'm Tom Powell.
And I'm Tracy Capelman. Well, you are probably packing right now for your Memorial Day weekend trip. And if you're like others, you were probably filling your gas tank today in anticipation of gas prices going up for the holiday weekend.
But gas prices may actually be lower in the next few days. Fox 28's Melanie Yule is live now to explain this one.
Tom and Tracy, you're exactly right. I spoke to some drivers today who are expecting a spike in gas prices for the long weekend. But a GasBuddy.com expert says some issues with refineries have been fixed. So you should probably expect to be paying the same at the pump this weekend, or maybe even a little less.
We're on the way there.
Nearly 1/3 of Americans are traveling this Memorial Day weekend, according to TripAdvisor.
We're heading back to the suburbs of Chicago. My mother still has a house there.
Mindy Tumarkin and her family started their drive in Cleveland, so they're traveling about 6 hours. But Donald Loomis and his family are staying closer to home.
We're going to E.B. Pines. It's down the road.
His reason for venturing just a few miles away?
The cost factor.
It's no secret gas prices have been high.
We're back at the point that I'm putting more money in my gas tank than in my mortgage per month.
And because of the holiday, these drivers expect the numbers behind the dollar signs to go even higher.
I don't doubt it will.
Just what happens.
But Greg Laskowski with GasBuddy.com says not so fast.
That may be an urban myth.
He says this weekend you should actually expect this.
They'll either stay flat or if there's any movement at all, it should be a nominal decline.
If you don't believe it, here's why.
We think that the problems that have impacted the Great Lakes region, the northern plain states, all the way from Minnesota and the Dakotas down to Oklahoma, we think that those problems are being corrected.
Those problems include issues at refineries in Indiana, Illinois, and a few other states. So now that they're being fixed, gas prices should decrease.
Anywhere from 5 to 25 cents a gallon across the next 30 days.
Which should be welcome news to drivers filling their tanks this holiday weekend.
We've been doing this every year, every long weekend.
Now, GasBuddy says right now the average price of gas in Indiana is $3.81, and that's actually the same price that it was this time last year.
All right, finally some good news. Melanie, thank you.
Well, if you do plan on hitting the road this holiday weekend, police do have some reminders.
Yeah, make sure you follow the simple rules of the road. It's a good idea to make sure your child's safety seat is installed properly. Make sure you buckle up, and if you're drinking and driving, police will have extra patrols out there looking to catch you.
Our St. Joe County Traffic Safety Partnership is going to have officers working all weekend long, so even on Monday, so on the holiday. And they're going to be out there looking for seatbelts. So make sure you're wearing your seatbelts. Make sure that you're driving like you're supposed to. They're going to be looking for that aggressive driver, that driver that may possibly be intoxicated.
Also, keep this in mind. It is not a race. You're encouraged to take breaks along the way to your Memorial Day weekend destinations.
Well, the last of those pesky rain showers that have been hanging around here for the past couple of days finally are moving away. One or two last little ones left in Noble County, one down there in southern Kosciuszko County. But look back here, see this? That's the clearing line. So these showers are moving out and the clouds are moving out and the clearing is moving in. With the clearing moving in, though, and northerly winds, going to get really cold overnight tonight. Check out these temperatures: upper 30s, low 40s overnight tonight. Goshen will hit an overnight low tonight, 37 degrees. But warmer air, much warmer air, is not that far off. Details on that at the bottom of the hour.
Oh, thanks, John. It's not something you hear a whole lot about, who manages cemeteries. But one Michiana city wants to let someone with more expertise handle theirs. Tall grass and litter are just a couple of the problems they'd like to get rid of. Fox 28's Adam Shear spoke to the mayor of Benton Harbor today about why they've decided to lease the cemeteries they have managed for years. Adam?
Well, Tracy, the city wants people to feel more at peace when they're paying respect to their loved ones, and they believe that starts with the well-kept grounds. They think if they sell the cemeteries to a company who's familiar with cemetery management, those families will be better served.
It's kind of a sore eyesight at times.
Charlotte Roper works at a church across the street from the Morton Hill Cemetery in Benton Harbor. She says sometimes the grounds there get so bad, the church has to take matters into their own hands by mowing the grass and picking up litter around the graves.
You know, those are things that we don't mind assisting doing, but, you know, it would be better if someone else could attend to it.
Morton Hill and Crystal Lake cemeteries are both managed by the city, and Roper's complaints aren't the first Mayor James Hightower has heard.
I've received calls a couple times over the previous year asking, you know, when is it going to be cut or when is it going to be taken. Those things you shouldn't have to call for.
The city recently decided their cemeteries would be better managed by an outside company, so they started searching for a professional cemetery business to take over because the mayor says they'll likely do a better job than the city.
It's about providing the best level of service that we possibly can at a reasonable cost. And this way we feel that citizens will be better served.
Roper and the church say they support the city's choice to lease the cemeteries and hope to see some changes made as soon as possible.
This is a historical site, and we would like to see it blossom.
Tracy, if you did notice in the story, the mayor did mention things about cost. When the city actually gets this taken over, they'll actually be gaining some money because the leasing company will pay them for that property. At the same time, they'll also save money because they won't have to pay anybody to manage the grounds from their own city employees.
Not everybody's happy about this, though, right? You did talk to the manager of the Crystal Springs Cemetery, and what did he have to say?
Yeah, we talked to Demarius McKinney earlier today, and while he didn't agree to go on camera, he did say he didn't find out about this until anybody else in the public did, and he was pretty upset about that. Not only that, but he's worried about someone else coming in and possibly firing him. However, when I did ask the mayor about this, he did say that they were trying to find a company that would provide those folks with some job security.
All right. Adam, thanks so much.
Right now at 10, at least 50 people sent to the hospital.
I'm Melanie Ewell. A crash involving 4 school buses. I'll have all the details.
That includes the latest on conditions and reaction from parents.
A lot of, injuries and stuff. I had blood all over my arms.
Also tonight.
Are you trying to help out the tornado victims of Oklahoma like these folks at the Stuff a Truck event? I'm Adam Shear. I'll tell you the best ways on how to do that.
Plus,
for many people, pets are part of the family. I'm Amanda Tetlack. I'll tell you how to protect them in case disaster strikes.
All that plus my guaranteed forecast. The news starts right now.
In high definition, this is Fox 28 News at 10.
First on Fox, developing news out of Kosciuszko County. A bus driver is airlifted to the hospital after 4 Wawasee school buses collide. Tonight, dozens are recovering from injuries. Good evening, I'm Tracy Capelman.
And I'm Tom Powell. Thank you for being here tonight. State Road 13 is finally reopened tonight after being shut down for hours.
The crash happened around 3:30, not far from Wawasee Middle School. Fox 28's Melanie Ewell is just back from the scene, and she is live in our newsroom with the latest. Melanie?
Tom and Tracy, Kosciuszko Community Hospital tells me they have 46 patients there from the bus crash. None of them have critical injuries. IU Health Goshen tells us they treated and released 4 patients from the crash today. Now, the crash happened when one of the buses was stopped, letting a 9th grader off the bus.
Well, I was getting off the bus and I'd say about a foot away.
That's how close Marcus Gagey was to his bus when the collision happened.
As I was backing up, bus 28 just crashed into bus 44.
Marcus says he's always the first one to get off the bus after school. Wednesday, his dad was waiting for him when he heard the crash.
It almost sounded like rolling thunder. It was almost like a boom, boom.
He quickly rushed to the scene.
Yelled at my wife, called 911, and then I ran over and I started pulling people off the bus, kids jumping out the window at me.
He says law enforcement and paramedics showed up shortly after that. and members of Wawasee Community Schools weren't far behind.
We heard on the bus radio at about 3:30 that an accident had occurred south of our middle school.
Superintendent of Wawasee Community Schools, Tom Eddington, says he wasn't quite prepared for what he saw.
I was in shock. Students were in shock.
Between 100 and 120 students were on the buses when the crash happened. Eddington says 5 students were taken away by ambulance, about 30 were taken to Kosciuszko Community Hospital by a school bus with a police escort, and about another 30 were taken to Wawasee Middle School where nurses and doctors checked them out. All the students were on their way home from school.
All 4 buses actually contain students from both the Wawasee Middle School and also the Wawasee High School.
Sergeant Chad Hill with the Kosciuszko County Sheriff's Department says they are continuing to investigate, but based on preliminary evidence, he can say this.
One of the potential buses had rear-ended another one of the middle buses and caused the collision, the chain reaction collision that continued all the way up to the front bus.
For the students, regardless of how or why it happened, it was a frightening experience.
It was just really scary. I was like 2 feet from getting hit.
The superintendent tells me there will be counselors on hand tomorrow because this was obviously a traumatic experience for the students.
No doubt. The pictures are even difficult to look at. Melanie, I understand that the superintendent did describe some of the injuries to you. How serious were they?
That's right. He said some of the kids had bruises and even split lips because of the force of hitting the seat in front of them during the crash. He also says some students injured their arms because they went like this to brace themselves on that seat in front of them. And I should mention all bus routes will run as normal tomorrow because they have enough replacements to keep the system going.
Okay, Melanie, thanks so much.
And now to the devastation in Oklahoma. People are beginning the tough task of going through the rubble. We are learning the staggering toll of those killed. That includes 24 people, including 2 infants. At least 12,000 homes were hit by Monday's EF5 tornado. The Oklahoma Insurance Department says the preliminary cost of damage could be $2 billion. Even while digging through the rubble, though, some there are remaining upbeat, finding irony among the tragedy.
Movie Twister.
You got it out?
Yeah, we just found it laying in front of our entertainment center.
FEMA and the Homeland Security Secretary have pledged they will not be forgotten. President Obama is planning a trip of his own on Sunday to see the damage firsthand.
Well, it is hard to watch the devastation from Oklahoma without wanting to reach out and lend a hand.
But did you know there's actually a good and a bad way to help? Fox 28's Adam Scher joins us now live from Mishawaka. And Adam, what are some things to look for before you give?
Well, Tom, one of the most important things to look for is where your items or your donation of money is actually going. For instance, the ladies here at the Stuff a Truck event in Mishawaka, their items are all going to be going to St. Vincent de Paul in Oklahoma City. That's where they'll be distributed from there. But when it comes to donating, you always want to make sure you do know where these things go, because if not, they could become more of a problem than part of the solution.
Thank you very much.
Hundreds of people stopped by Wednesday's Stuff a Truck event in Mishawaka to donate whatever they could to help the families whose homes were destroyed by tornadoes in Oklahoma.
Kids bringing in their toys, here, give this to the other kids that really need it.
Patty Waltz and Kathy Seidel are hoping to fill the truck with everything from toys to toiletries before they head down to drop the items at a church close to where the disaster was.
You get up in the morning, you go to the bathroom, and you go brush your teeth. She said these people don't have a bathroom and they don't have a toothbrush. So she said everything and anything is what we need.
Local Red Cross branches are also doing what they can. Not only have volunteers deployed, but they are accepting monetary donations. The Red Cross only accepts money because that allows them to purchase exactly what is needed at the site of the disaster.
The money that's donated here can stay here and help people after a fire. Sometimes we've got friends and neighbors that may be down in Oklahoma, and we'll help them as well.
Doug Farmwald with the Red Cross says, unfortunately, during times like these, good intentions can wind up hurting. A donation without an exact destination can wind up as a headache for volunteers. Instead, have an exact plan, like the women who organized the Stuff a Truck event.
Make sure you've got a connection on the other end so that it has a place to go and there's a plan to get it to someone who needs it.
Both he, along with Waltz and Seidel, know there are a lot of people trying to help. They just want to make sure everyone is helping in the most efficient way.
Michiana's never let anybody down. They've done several of these for different reasons, and it's been overwhelming, and today is overwhelming.
Now, this Stuff a Truck event will continue tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. here at the Lazy Boy in Mishawaka. But as you can see, some people have actually taken the time to stop by after hours and drop off things like water softener, some clothes here. Basically, everybody's really trying to help out, and tomorrow night is when they will take off and head down to Oklahoma.
Yeah, Adam, it's always nice to see people come together at a time like this. I know the Red Cross talked about the cost of transporting things across the country. That can be staggering in and of itself. But the women who organized that Stuff a Truck event, they found a way around that.
Yeah, ProFleet really reached out and helped these guys. They donated them the semi-truck, a driver to take the things down, and they're donating all the gas that it's going to take to get these things down. The ladies who organized it will be following behind, though, in a U-Haul with some extra stuff that they hope is past what has been stuffed into the truck.
Well, everyone doing what they can. Adam Scher live in Mishawaka tonight. Adam, thank you. While the loss of life in Oklahoma this week has been devastating, losing a family pet can be tragic as well. And through the rubble, people are searching for their pets, dogs, and cats that they truly consider to be members of their family.
That's right. Fox 28's Amanda Tetlak spoke with a woman today who has helped reunite pet owners with their animals after a tragedy. And Amanda, it is definitely a tough time for these families.
Yeah, that's right, Tracy. Just take a look at this. This is the website OKCLostPets.com. It's got pictures of dozens of animals that people are looking for. This is Gypsy here. Down here, we have Rusty. You know, we've probably all seen the video on Facebook of the woman finding her dog in the rubble of her home while being interviewed. Unfortunately, there are some other similar stories.
She's the most loyal dog anyone could ever have. So we're truly grateful.
In the midst of destruction, there are glimmers of hope, like an Oklahoma woman who found her dog alive in the middle of her collapsed home. When she went over to the rubble, she heard yipping.
We've been super blessed with our family's safety and now the safety of all of our animals.
Closer to home, 7-year-old Merlin also survived a tornado in Napanee in 2007.
We were already in bed, and when we heard the sirens and went running downstairs, and he followed us, and but as soon as we got to the basement, the tornado hit. So he was with us and safe.
Pam Hollenberg is grateful her pets made it through the tornado. Her cat was found hiding in a closet the next day. She couldn't imagine if it had happened differently.
It would be very devastating, yes. Yes, he is a member of the family, and it's important that he stay safe, too.
It's all right. You're fine. You're fine.
Linda Candler has a lot of experience working with animals. She owns Linda's Camp Canine and also volunteered during other disasters to reunite pets with their owners.
To see those people's faces when they come in and their dog is there, and, you know, just that's amazing.
Candler says hundreds of animals were displaced following the Joplin tornado. She says that's why it's so important to have an emergency kit ready to go at all times with vaccination history along with food and water for a week. Plus, she says never leave your pet behind and get them microchipped.
Getting it registered to you is the biggest key. Collars with identification is great, but a microchip, you know, they can lose that collar. A microchip goes right back to you.
And Tracy, Pam told me that her dog Merlin, the cute little schnauzer you saw there in the video, she said that he used to not be bothered by things like fireworks and thunderstorms, but you know, after the tornado, he gets really nervous.
Oh, well, you can imagine. And getting back to Linda, you said she has been to places like Missouri. Has she actually been called yet to help in Oklahoma?
Not yet. She says, though, that she's pretty sure that they probably will call her out to help, though. They like to get the area secured, you know, and set up a place. You're probably familiar with this, having talked to her the last time she went.
Yeah,
they set up this makeshift shelter, and they just take care of the animals, you know, get them fed and watered and take care of them until their families can.
Those volunteers are ready to go.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
And for continuing coverage of the devastation from the tornadoes in Oklahoma, stay tuned to Fox 28 and Fox28.com. We have extensive information on groups accepting donations, as well as the latest on the recovery efforts.
First on Fox, the backups at a busy Michiana intersection could be getting longer starting tomorrow. Good evening, I'm Tracy Capelman.
And I'm Tom Powell. Thank you for being here tonight. We're talking about the Ash Road Lincoln Way intersection at the Elkhart-St. Joe County line.
Well, a detour has been in place just west of the intersection for months, and now there's another detour on the way. Fox 28's Amanda Tetlak is live right now at that intersection, and this trouble spot has been delaying drivers quite a bit.
Yeah, Tom and Tracy, this is exactly what we're talking about. This train going by behind me now. When I was here earlier today, 3 trains came by in a matter of 30 minutes, and it doesn't take long during rush hour for the traffic to really get backed up on either side of the road. And part of the reason is because, well, drivers can't go west on Lincoln Way, and now they're preparing for a possible other slowdown in the area. The dreaded sound for drivers approaching the Ash Road Lincoln Way intersection on the Elkhart-St. Joe County line. Why? Because Lincoln Way has been closed just west of Ash Road since April, so crews can replace the bridge over Boggo Creek. It sucks. Yeah. Ridiculous.
I probably waste a good 45 minutes to an hour now because of all the road construction that's been going on here lately.
The Indiana Department of Transportation says it's necessary work, but unfortunately the road won't reopen anytime soon.
It's something we're working very quickly to get done as fast as possible, but taking down an old bridge and putting up a brand new bridge takes time. So unfortunately we're going to have to wait till the end of October to get this finished for folks.
And get this, another project completely unrelated to the Boggo Creek Bridge is leaving drivers worried that they may be trapped. Beginning Tuesday, Old US 33, which becomes Lincoln Way, will be closed at State Road 19. So drivers headed east on Lincoln Way from Ash Road won't be able to get too far.
I don't know why anybody would even come this direction then, because it's just going to be, you have no way to go except over the railroad tracks, which is half the time blocked by a train. So everybody's going to go the other direction, which will cause more traffic that way.
Great. Well, I guess at least when I finally get across the tracks, it won't be that bad.
Drivers tell me they feel the projects happening at the same time is poor planning, but they'll either have to be patient or maybe hop on a bicycle instead. Now that Old US 33 closure at State Road 19, that's not exactly going to be a quick project either. That road is expected to be closed for 50 days.
So Amanda, what's the light at the end of the tunnel here? What's the ultimate goal?
Well, Tracy, this is all part of the State Road, not this Boggo Creek Bridge, but we'll have a new bridge, so that'll be good for drivers. But the State Road 19 project is part of a huge project. They're doing a lot of work over there. They're actually realigning the intersection there, so that's why it's going to be closed. And we have detour information about that on our website. It's fox28.com.
All right, thanks so much, Amanda Tetlack reporting live. Well, we have an update to the 5 Points Road project in South Bend. Beginning Wednesday, State Road 23 traffic will be shifted to the newly completed lanes. So traffic will have 1 lane in each direction. As a result, 3 roads will be closed. Those will be South Bend Avenue between North Notre Dame Avenue and Francis Street, Twickenham Drive at 23 and the intersection of Eddy and Howard Streets.
We know they're frustrating, we know it's an inconvenience, and we don't like doing that. By the same token, coming up when this project is complete, it's going to be a much more efficient, a safer road to travel on.
Well, the roads will be closed until at least October. In other news, an independent reviewer who looked at this year's I-STEP test found there were no problems with the kids' scores. Even though those test interruptions impacted 1/6 of the students who took the test, the report says there was no measurable negative impact on the scores. Now, in the report, CTB McGraw-Hill says about 80,000 students had at least one part of their test interrupted when glitches with servers kicked them offline. State Superintendent Glenda Ritz accepts the results from the review, but Ritz has already spoken with schools about the results and has told them to give a little leeway with evaluations and compensation for teachers.
The former head of Indiana's public schools is facing some questions tonight. Tony Bennett went on to become Florida's education commissioner back in December, but the questions surround his time in the Hoosier State. The Associated Press says it's obtained emails showing his staff scrambled to give Crystal House Academy a top grade after 10th grade algebra scores pulled the school down to a C in the state's grading system. Academy founder Crystal Dahan has given more than $2.8 million to Republicans, including $130,000 to Bennett himself. Bennett and Dahan denied Monday that the Academy received any special treatment.
Well, we finally broke into some sunshine this afternoon here in Michiana. Those clouds were just painfully slow to depart. You can see here on our satellite map, they finally moved their way out of here and made way for some sunshine. I think that'll translate into basically clear skies overnight tonight, and tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, some sunshine, temperature 52 degrees. Though if you look closely, you see a few clouds there. I think eventually a little bit of rain is on the way, and I'll talk more about when that's going to get here when I come back at the bottom of the hour.
All right, John, thank you. A pilot is dead after a plane crash near the Stark County Airport in Knox. The Stark County Sheriff's Department says it happened just before 3 o'clock Central Time this afternoon. Deputies say the plane is a single-engine RV-6. When they arrived on the scene, the plane was about 20 yards off of State Road 8 in a cornfield. The pilot was pronounced dead on the scene. WKVI in Knox reports the pilot is a man and that the crash happened as the plane was coming in for a landing. They're also reporting the plane was on its way to Oshkosh, Wisconsin.